So guys, finally, Peter Obi has joined the coalition and they've chosen the platform of the ADC. Guess what? A whole lot of buzzwords. People are pushing in for Peter Obi to be the ticket bearer of that coalition. And Obedience have always said without Peter Obi, there won't be any coalition. So yes, Peter Obi is part and parcel of that coalition. But guess what? Obedience are still waiting for who is going to be who is going to have the presidential ticket, because if Peter Obi is not given the opportunity, I wonder who else. This coalition is just formed with the sole aim of making sure Tinubu does not return, at least so that Nigeria can start fixing its problem of insecurity, food insecurity, and all the challenges we are having that this government is not even looking into. We all know that Wike has been accused of grabbing land, giving to his children land that worth billions and billions of dollars. This is all about themselves, not about the people. We are looking for a government that is working for the people, that is equally going to carry the people along. Anyway, I'm going to allow you to take a look at how the spokesperson for Peter Obi has put forward, some of the commitments of Mr. Peter Obi and how Mr. Peter Obi is being welcomed even by the opposition. Take your time, watch this video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now take a look.
Peter Obi has stepped up his attempt to shape a new Nigeria, declaring his intention to run for president in 2027. But to make this happen, he says he's willing to serve just one 4-year term if required, depending on whatever agreement he reaches with those who support his political ambition. Mr. Obi also refuted speculation that he might contest on a joint ticket with the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as part of an agreement with the opposition coalition. And at a time when this country has so many challenges on its doorstep, the former governor of Anambra State and 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate talked about how he intends to make Nigeria great again. He said that if elected president, he would restore stability to this country within 2 years, insisting that in his first 100 days in office, he would bring order to governance and would prioritize security, education, and pulling people out of poverty. And he said he'd do this by cutting the cost of governance and fighting corruption from day one. He would then channel recovered funds into key critical sectors. So how do we decode these headline-grabbing statements in a country with a long list of politicians who make promises they can't keep? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the interim national coordinator of the Obedient Movement worldwide, Dr. Yunusa Tanko. Dr. Tanko, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's get straight into it.
Let's
get straight into it. He said he would restore stability to this country within 2 years if elected. That may well be beyond what anybody can realistically expect to happen in 24 months. Can you decode that statement for us?
For somebody who within his first term of office have been able to unite Anambarians within a short period of time by making sure the backlog of some of the deficits in governance were taken care of, I think he has proven himself.
Well, Anambra State is a state.
Yeah, it's a
Nigeria
state.
Is a federation.
Of course, because you must have started somewhere to prove your method. That's where you have records of service. And his record has shown clearly that he has shown difference in how he wants to deal with issues.
But do you think it's politically wise to give such a well-defined time span? Because the fear of those who support him is that he's at risk of joining that long list of politicians who make promises they can't keep.
And probably an opportunity for also him to break the jinx of politicians who make promises and fulfill them.
Good point.
Because when you look at the situation, there's so much decay in the system that only 1 or 2 things that you will do as a president, and then it will wipe up a lot of tears in the eyes of people. This is somebody who, even before he is a president, has traveled up to Egypt, going to study how the electricity issues have been salvaged in that country. Even if it's that particular one that he's able to do, he has proved a lot of doubting Thomas is correct.
Yeah, but the point is that it's not that particular one. It's not one. So when you say stability, when you say that you're going to restore stability within 2 years. I mean, it's an attractive message, but one has to wonder how practical it is, because restoring stability is a broad term. But when you break it down, we're looking at political, economic, and social stability. We're talking about energy stability, electricity, education, health institutions, and the health workforce, poverty, agriculture, democracy, etc. I mean, the experts say that will take a long, frenetic time and will require substantial investment. Some estimates are already suggesting that to do this, he will require, hundreds of billions of dollars. Where is he going to get that kind of money? Or you haven't thought that through?
Do you see me smiling at you?
I see you smiling at me.
Because there's particular indices in this country that unify us. We are divided religious, tribal, and ethnic line for a very long time. For me in particular, who I'm from a northern part of this country, and I've seen how the decay in the system have been. I've been a presidential candidate, I've been a chairman of all political parties and all, and I know the historical background of this country. This is an opportunity to unite this particular country, and Peter Obi is a unifier. Let me give you an example. A lot of our brothers and sisters in the southeast feel annihilated and deny the right to put in place leadership. Let's assume now all of us now agree and say, Excellency Peter Obi, take the mantle of leadership. Do you know what that means? It's a single unifying factor that can unite the country within a short period of time. Just that announcement and allowing him or supporting him to become president. Do you know the number of people that would have come back into this economy? Most of the people who have traveled out of the country, both of them are technical academicians. Everybody will want to come back just because he's running for election. 12.5 million Nigerian youth registered to vote. It's a unifying factor. And if he can be able to bring the best of our Nigerians back into the country, I can tell you he can take care of economic situation, he can deal with the issue of tribal sentiment, he can deal with the issue of religion, he can deal with the issue of lack of education, because this is a man who has been able to bring his own people from the dwelling of 26th position in Y to number 1. It's a practical example. So if he has already done that within a short period of just even 1 year, you do this and put them in a practical form, you have succeeded.
Well, it all sounds brilliant listening to you talking, but the reason I'm asking you this is that people want to have a very clear picture of what he is saying he'll do and how he intends to do it, because they fully intend to hold him to account when and if the time comes. So in a sense, this is a warning to him. Don't make radical promises you can't keep. Don't betray the trust of the people because of the ambition you have to be president, because people don't want the already bad news in their lives to be magnified if the hope they place in him is torn.
Can you imagine for a single one person, that's Peter Obi, to be in charge of the obedient movement? The most challenging people who are angry for good governance and demanding for good governance are in the obedient movement. They have put up a template. On a continuous basis, they checkmate him, and he's been able to show capacity on that. If he can weather the storm of the younger generation, I don't think he has problem of weathering the storm of the Nigerian situation, because already he has been put onto a test match. At every point in time, no single presidential candidate, as of today, can withstand to go on a Twitter space and face those Nigerians who are angry. No single one. And he has been able to do it time without number. That shows you that he has the capacity to lead and challenge the status quo. It's an open challenge. If any one of them, including Mr. President, can do that open space, pilot fact is there. Please check on them. Go there and speak to Nigerians. And they will ask you picking questions, something that had to do with their life, and they want concrete answers. So he has been able to give on how and why and what he can do as a person, and he has been able to exemplify himself clearly. We are not supporting anybody. We are supporting somebody who has capacity, credibility, and has intellectual knowledge of what the problems are and is ready to deal with it headlong.
Right. So just to be clear, he understands what the problems are. He has information about what resources he has available to tackle them, and he's going to attack them as fast as possible. And that is his mindset, and nothing is going to block him or thwart his efforts in getting this agenda through if elected.
Quite all right. Let me give you another example. In Nigeria, we look at leaders and followers. Some look at followers at the level of disdain. I'm talking about somebody who, to me, it's amazing. He went to an Almajiri school. He is from the southeast. He went to the Almajiri school. Not only did he sit with them, he was not even holding them in the, maybe smelling probably anything. No, he went into their toilet to see what their challenges are. And then he built them a toilet. He didn't stay behind and say, no, some aides, go and look at it and tell me. Well, no, it was him who went there by himself. This is practical example of compassion and care for the people. For me, that particular day, he redoubled my effort in working with him. And I know a lot of people were interested. A lot of Northerners who were doubting who he is and what he can do showed example. And even today, it may be amazing to you, a team of leaders from the Emirate Council came to give him award, take him a chieftaincy council, even though he doesn't believe in it. But one way or the other, it is show up acceptance. And what did they say? We are happy that you are able to come and build borehole for us. We saw how you invest in entrepreneurship of our young ones in the north. We saw how you go into the Islamic school. We saw how you celebrate Salah with us. That for us shows us that you are a man of compassion. What we want from you is just for you to just take it, keep it even in the archives, but let it be known that we are associating with you. These are clear-cut examples of what he has been able to do. And that's to show you that he can be able to do more if you have the resources. He's not in government and he's doing this. What about if he's in government? So you can put that particular into context.
But at this point, he doesn't know what party he intends to run under in 2027.
Well, in the issue of the party, you can see gladiators, Nigerians, patriotic Nigerians are saying, look, this country is in dire needs of a gladiator, somebody who have that particular capacity to help us midwife into a new era, giving us a new country that all of us will be proud of. we are coming together. Let's salvage this country together. At that point, it has shown clearly there's a purposefulness in what they are doing. And parties will come easily because you have a candidate who, in the political terrain, will play with 6 million votes, even more than that. As a political party, you will be running after that particular candidate.
But at this point, you and Peter Obi are still members of the Labour Party.
Yes.
You are in the Labour Party yourself.
Yes, I am.
How is the Labour Party... Let me just ask you one quick example, because you are still in the party.
Yeah.
How is the Labour Party planning to take part in this Lagos local government elections?
Well, some of the candidates that were presented by the state are there. And there seems to be kind of a form of a synergy between all of the candidates and the probably leadership in the state. The idea is to make sure that you present candidates that can win elections. And it's not only in Lagos State, even in the FCT Abuja here, there are candidates that are being put in place. But I want to assure Nigerians that we are putting in the best energy we can put in. And we are warehousing candidates. This time around is going to be credible candidates all over the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And these candidates are being warehoused. You may say probably we are giving out an expo. No, Nigerians want to fight for their countries. And they find interest into the obedient movement and the candidate of Peter Obi. And a lot of them, I can assure you, are coming.
Yeah, but I mean, your party is factionalized. And I'm wondering how you're able to move and approach people in a cohesive manner. I mean, even your campaigning, I'm wondering whether the campaign itself is also factionalized. And people are putting up their own sort of, candidates or different messages, conflicting messages.
The attention at the moment now has shifted from political party, but an individual. You agree with me? Yeah. So if the individual gave a directive and the people believe in, they follow suit. The idea is getting the most credible candidate to win elections and believing in the candidate. Unfortunately, we don't have independent candidates in Nigeria. But then we are believing in a particular candidate that we know that when he has the opportunity, he will make Nigeria great. And so everybody wants to align with that particular candidate. It's a plus.
Right. So you're able to convince voters in Lagos State that you are a credible alternative, even though the party is in disarray.
Oh, sure. Because by the time His Excellency Peter Obi raised the hands of any particular candidate, people follow because it is him that they believe, and they believe anybody that follows him must have that particular trait of
and you didn't create confusion with INEC, with one faction saying this is the candidate, another, just like you're saying this is chairman, the other one is saying it's not the chairman. I mean...
No. The most important thing is that once INEC take you as a candidate and you believe in the ideology and the principle of His Excellency Peter Obi, you become a candidate of the people. Because already you've learned a system. You believe that somebody who's going to give you something different.
Yeah, but your name has to be there.
Of course, the name has to be there and the political party has to be there. So by supporting that, I said if he comes to raise your hand and say you are the person, he must have done a lot of check on you to be sure that you are. And you must have been an obedient who believed in demanding for good governance in Nigeria. And
he said that he would do a 1 4-year term.
Exactly.
If the agreement calls for that.
Yes.
That is something that a lot of people would be happy to hear.
Of course.
Certainly people from the north, because they believe that their turn is 2031.
And for an integrity point of view, he has shown that he's not a man that deviates from an agreement. The idea is let's get the Nigerian path running. Let's get it on the right path. And he's assuring Nigerians he will do so. And he even gave an example of himself as a person that anywhere you see a Peter Obi and he makes a pronouncement, he sticks by it. An example is the woman that he met in the church, who actually was asking him, why is he in the church? She just saw him and then she started berating him with a lot of questions. And then he said to her, man, I must come in. What was the problem? What did I do? He said, you people are owing me my gratuity and pension. She said, okay, man, don't
You mean Anambra State?
Yes.
Right.
You know, say, okay, I will visit you at home. She gave him the address and he visited and he listened to her till he left. There was nobody that was owing pension and gratuity. That example of a leader. You promise and you do. They call it Toknadu in the Benin language. That is the kind of person Peter Obi is.
Right. And the Atiku question.
Yes.
How did that come up?
Well, issue of relationship have been there for quite a while, irrespective.
Yeah, but you have to wonder whether he's consciously trying to publicly distance himself from Atiku Abubakar.
No, relationship have been maintained. Good work, good relationship. There's respect between the both of them. Highly respected individual to both of them. So there's no any issue. There's only the synergy there is that let us work to salvage this country together.
But is there implicit within his announcement that he will not essentially be an appendage of Atiku Abubakar? He won't share a joint ticket with him. Is there you're saying that is...
That discussion has not been made at all.
Yeah, but he made the statement saying that he refuted speculation that he might contest on a joint ticket with Atiku Abubakar.
That was the same question, would you be the vice president? And all said, discussion of that nature has not even come up. So he's just making a discussion to say, look, this discussion did not even come up at the moment now. The most important thing is that let's see how we can pull people out of poverty. Let's work together to get Nigeria.
Yeah, but how should we read that? Does that mean that if it comes up and if the terms are favorable, he might consider
that is not even come up. So even why would you even
candidate?
interpret it when the issue is not being discussed at all? That issue is not being discussed at all.
Yeah, but just like you, he's been very clear
Yes.
on the things that he's going to do and
Yes.
the things that he won't do.
Yes.
Can he be clear on this?
And when the time comes, of course, he will be clear.
You're saying when the time is now.
Oh, no. This discussion at the moment is to ensure that we are working together as a platform. We want to work together, and you take step by step. We are all Nigerians and we're still living.
Right.
When the time comes, it will happen. Everybody will know about it. But now, nothing of that nature is being done.
So he's in the Labour Party. He's in the opposition coalition, and I understand there are moves from the PDP also to try and attract him.
You see how very good and very attractive he is as a candidate.
Well, but what I'm asking is, he's got all these sort of pots on the fire.
Yeah, because all of them are opposition political parties.
So as long as they're opposition,
And he's the leader.
he can jump from
and
one
he's
to
not
the other.
jumping. He's the leader of the opposition, and they're trying to get it together, and the process is on.
Right. So what's going to happen next? What can we expect?
Well, there's a lot to be expected. The alliance and discussions are ongoing. Pronouncements will be made as we move along. The most important thing is that we have a platform that will agree to look, this is ABC we are agreeing to work on, and to ensure that it is just for the people and not for individuals or self-gaining proposition on all. It's a continuous process that we get it right. It's going to be one of the biggest coalitions that Nigerians have not seen, because already Nigerians are discussing about it and they are agreeing that, look, let's work together, and then the leadership are showing that we are going to work together. So it's like giving an answer to the quite large demands of the Nigerian people.
And for the obedient movement that you lead, it doesn't matter where he goes. All he's got to say is jump, and they'll say how high.
That's not because that's how you are building an army that want to revolutionize the country on the right path. And of course, where he say he's going, that's where we are. When he say hey, we say hey, hey.
On that note, I want to thank you very much indeed. Dr. Yunusa Tanko is the interim national coordinator of the Obedient Movement worldwide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. God bless Nigeria.
Well, that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow from...
So guys, let's quickly take a look at some of the challenges as the coalition emerges. We know that there's a particular faction of the ADC. You see, this political crisis is everywhere. It's everywhere because the ruling party will always want to plant its people in all the parties so that they will be opposing every step that is being taken. So the coalition is not coming without its own challenge. Now, the former presidential candidate of the ADC is now having its own faction and not agreeing with what the coalition is saying. And he has put forward, a dismissal saying that, let me just read from this headline. It says former ADC presidential candidate Kachuku has dismissed appointment of David Mark as interim chairman, accusing Atiku's ally of backdoor politics. So it appears some people were not carried along. In short, to be sincere, Atiku is the one spearheading this coalition. Peter Obi is just being invited because Atiku is the one talking with all these people, but they want Peter Obi to be there because they believe Peter Obi has a very strong followership. Now, let's quickly take a look at what these other people are saying. This person reacted and said, look at the confusion already. Even their own former presidential candidate is exposing the shady backdoor deal and power grabbing by Atiku's camp. How can this so-called coalition rescue Nigeria when they can't even organize themselves without fighting? This is Tinubu's man talking. APC agent. So you can see that Tinubu cannot do without planting its own people, in all over the places, so that they will just be disrupting some of the things that are being done. Anyway, yes, nothing comes without its own challenges. This person is a former presidential candidate and not a permanent presidential candidate. Okay, this is good. Yes, this is good. Not a permanent presidential candidate. It's just okay. And this one says no be former chairman, na presidential. No be former chairman, na presidential. This one say one loophole active. And I've been waiting to hear from this guy. Although he made some money through Atiku in the past, so he shouldn't be difficult to buy along. Maybe they are yet to get in touch with him. Anyway, a whole lot. Yes, I know that some people will be criticizing Peter Obi, that why is he even working with these people? In Nigerian politics, numbers count. Tinubu is already a kind of campaigning. They've already started making plantain chips to start sharing. Elections are not, in short, governance is not even halfway. Tinubu is already sharing plantain chips. These are some of the things. This is why you not even blame Peter Obi. Because what Peter Obi is trying to form nice alliance, not because he's agreeing to the ideology of these people. And Nigerian political place is so shady and dirty that you cannot really come out and vie for these positions and you go and win the election. You still need to gather yourselves around all these kind of people that you don't even agree with. That is just the truth, But guess what? We want Peter Obi to at least come in and build strong institutions. Come and fix the judiciary. Just some minor things that are fundamental, that have to be done. We want Peter Obi to come and tackle all this, let there be democracy. Let there be democracy. Let workers enjoy. Let salaries be paid. Let all this borrow stop. Let's make money from internal, not external. These are some of the things why we want Peter Obi. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.